Shabbat Shalom, Happy Sabbath. This is the time of year when the descendants of Yaakov, Israel, were waiting for Moses to come back down from the mountain, Mount Sinai. And I like to participate in the meaning and the memory of, the memorial of these biblical times and things in biblical history. And besides studying about it, I like to think, for example, this time, what were they doing while they were waiting for him? Were they getting ready? Were they nervous about him coming back? What would be all those commandments? Were there just 10? Were there 600? Were there thousands of ordinances and statutes and laws? Anyway, I think the basic thing is they were getting ready. So, what would I do if I had been there and I was looking forward to Moses' return? I think I would be preparing. I would be always ready. And I would make sure I had bread on hand when he came so I could give him a beautiful meal. So I thought this would be a great time these days to start making sourdough bread again. So I had to look at my old recipes and check on some videos to make sure I was remembering how I used to do this. So this is a approximately 2-quart canning jar. And I started this yesterday before the Sabbath, about I don't know, maybe it was like 7:30 p.m. before sunset. So it's flour and water, that's all, warm water. And as you could see, I hope you could see that it's already started making some tiny, tiny bubbles. And that's what we need. We need it to be leavened, which means it reacts with the yeast that's floating around in the air and it starts growing. There is some big bubbles in there also. This is cheesecloth on the top because it needs to get access to the yeast in the air so it can react. I saw some videos, some people put sugar in it. That's not the traditional way and it's not necessary. Now, when I was making sourdough bread, which was, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, all of a sudden I started having digestive problems. And I thought, well, maybe it's the gluten. So I totally stopped making that bread and I started a gluten-free diet. And I stayed on that a few years. And then it occurred to me one day, maybe it wasn't the gluten. Maybe it was since I was doing so much baking, I was eating a lot of extra carbs. So then I slowly started eating gluten again and I saw it didn't bother me. So now I've decided that yes, it was too many carbs. Also, I'd had a checkup, which I get like once every 6 to 10 years, a blood test, and the nurse practitioner said I should drink more water, have more protein, and less carbs, even fruit, not too much fruit. So I'm starting again with the sourdough bread. Let's see. One of the reasons I thought it was gluten is because I'd started using semolina flour, which has more gluten in it. Anyway, experimenting seems to give me more answers about my health, etc., than professionals are. But I can understand why, because to come to these conclusions, you have to think really long about something, and you have to experiment with it, and you have to do a lot of research. So I'm not fast, but I could certainly do some deep thinking and figure things out. And what's going to happen, to my family when I go to the next level? I'm the family researcher, and I've turned into the family historian. And, I can't write down everything in my head. Okay, so I'll monitor this every day. And, every day you have to add some flour to it and maybe some water if it's getting too dry. And yeah, usually you have to add warm water and flour. Okay, that's it for now.